Hello and welcome to History 2010. This is Section 2IH, a dual enrollment, History of the United States to 1865. This is an internet, 16-week full semester course for the fall of 2023, and I am the professor for the class. My name is Dr. James McDonald, and I'm excited to have you all in the class. And in this video, we're going to do a little bit of an introduction, talk about the course requirements, look at this Moodle shell, the syllabus, and some of the other elements to the class. Right underneath all of this we have, because this is a new thing we're dealing with, the statement of use of AI. We'll kind of get to that when we talk about the discussions in the course of the class, but it's just a little friendly thing to tell you that we don't want you to use artificial intelligence or chat GPT or BARD in any of those discussion board answers that you have. So said a different way, just make sure that the work that you turn in is your own work. So what I'd like to do is scroll down a little bit, talk to you about the required elements of the class. This is a link to the textbook, so you're familiar with that. And this is an actual link that will show you the book. It's not where you get the book. You have to acquire the book on your own. You can, again, use this link to make a purchase of the e-copy of the book. You can buy a hard copy of the book, whatever you so choose to do. But it is required. It is America, a narrative history, and we're using the brief 12th edition. So like this book cover suggests, make sure you get the right one. So again, this isn't a link to the actual book. You have to go out and acquire it one way or the other. So let's go back to the class. We also have here that you can look at this on your own, a discussion board rubric. Basically, a rubric means the requirements for the discussion boards, which are an element of the grade during the course of this semester. So we'll get into some of the details with that as we go further along. So we call this our Moodle shell, and Moodle is essentially where you're going to go to get the different assignments and to complete the assignments. But your course schedule can be found up here, and that is the syllabus. So I've got it open, so we'll take a look at it really quickly. Okay, it's got my information on it. If you need to email me, I assume that's how most of you are going to communicate with me. Make sure that you spell my name correctly. It's M-A-C, it's MacDonald. And I also ask that you put the section number in the subject line. That's that little used subject line that no one really takes seriously. When you write an email, you just go and write the email. You make sure you get it to the right person. But in that little subject line, just put 2010 2IH, or you can put 2010 dual enrollment. I'm currently running 4 different sections of 2010, and so just to put History 2010 isn't enough information. So if you'd like to get your email answered, I suggest you follow that, again, very easy requirement. Write your class and section number in the subject line of the email. We mentioned the book. This class is going to deal with the time of exploration, colonization, all the way through to the end of the Civil War. We're going to be working in the first 14 chapters of the textbook. You can buy the first half of the text. You can buy the complete, which deals with the second half of American history. Either edition is fine. Just make sure it is the brief 12th edition. It's required because you have to read the book, and from the book come the study guides, and from those study guides we have the exams. So you, again, have to read the book and keep up with it and not try to play catch up. So, when we have the assigned readings, make sure that you kind of follow the outline in the syllabus. It starts slowly, but you'll be reading 2 chapters a week on average, just to keep in mind. It's not a terrible textbook. I know you're probably thinking it's as dry as a saltine cracker, but it's not. It's has a very well-organized approach, and I think you'll learn something from it. A lot of it will be a refresher for you, and a lot of it will be new material that you might not be as familiar with. So let's get into how we come up with the grades for the class. There are 4 exams, and they make up 75% of your grade. And those exams will be made up of 50 multiple choice questions. You take the exam on Moodle during the schedule on the syllabus, and you go to Moodle to go take the exam. The exams are open from Friday morning till Sunday evening at 11 p.m. And the exam questions come from study guides, which I provided on Moodle. So if we were to go back to Moodle, you can see in week 1, when you first get started, there's your exam 1 study guide. And if you were to click on it, since I've got that open as well, it looks like that. So your first exam is going to cover 3 chapters, and you've got all total 50 study guide questions, and you have 50 exam questions. Hopefully you can figure out that as you read, what you want to do is look for this information in the textbook. Make sure you're familiar with it. At exam time, you'll have an hour to complete the test. Again, 50 multiple choice questions. The other part of your grade, the other 25%, comes from discussions. And discussions are placed in Moodle. And what you will do in the discussion is react to one of 2 different source material. Let's go back to Moodle really quick. I know we're going back and forth, but we kind of need to. The first discussion is from the Crash Course series. You may be familiar with Crash Course, science, literature, American history, European history, and this one comes from the European history. So the link is right there. I'm not going to click on it because it'll probably take us to a commercial, but it's there for you to watch, and then you'll answer the discussion in week 2. So you're going to watch a video that deals with early exploration, and specifically it deals with the Spanish and Portuguese, who are sending their ships out into the Atlantic during the 14 and 1500s. So you click here, as you can see in Moodle, and you will answer the question that is right there. Everyone will have every discussion. There'll be 4 of them. They're all worth 25 points each, and you need to make sure that all of them are at least 150 words. And when you click on this rubric, you'll also see some of the other requirements. Punctuation and all those other things when you want to do good writing count, clear writing, an argument, a thesis, whatever you want to call it, is all part of this. So this is a writing exercise that you have 4 of them to do. When we get to, we'll skip ahead a little bit. Whoa, there we go. I kind of mixed it up with some videos, which are fun. And these videos run just 12, 15 minutes maybe. We also have some primary sources, and instead of making you read a primary source document, I found like a dramatization of some of these primary source. That means something taken from the time period. So in this case, we've got someone reading Thomas Jefferson's first inaugural address. You know, that's what the president speech that they would write, although Jefferson didn't like to give speeches. But anyway, it's the speech that he submitted to Congress. Probably never given as a speech unless somebody read it in Congress. But anyway, you can click on that and listen to the link, and then you'll go and answer the question based on what you just listened to. So just like the exam, there are due dates for the discussion. We'll go back to the syllabus. The discussions are due on Fridays. Not every week. You've only got 4 of them, and you can see the schedule of the discussions when we go back to the syllabus schedule. If they're late, they'll be penalized 10% of their value until, there's no value left in them. So please make sure you turn them in on time. This class isn't a free-for-all just because it's on the internet. There are strict dates for taking the exams. If you miss it, you miss the exam. What we're going to do in the course of the semester is drop your lowest exam grade, so your best 3 exams, and then all of your discussions. So you want to complete the discussions because if you do well, it can help your grade. If you don't do any of them, it will hurt your grade. And I've seen folks lose like a whole letter grade because they had a decent average on the exams and then they just didn't take the discussions seriously. So make sure you do them. It's just a way to complete and round out some skill set during the course of the semester. So we talked about the exams. They're administered through Moodle, open Friday through Sunday, unless otherwise, we have a long weekend or something, we have to open up a little bit longer. That'll be in the syllabus. I try to respond as quickly as possible, usually within 24 hours. I don't keep strange student hours because I'm older than most students. So, if you decide to email late or anything like that, you'll probably won't get an answer right away. So keep that in mind. Same with the grading. I grade things in a reasonable amount of time. Again, the big thing with the discussions is that they're in your own words. So don't take anything off the internet. Don't use those AI programs. Don't cut and paste from Google. Just in your own words. I want you to respond to these questions that I ask in the discussion. And if you do plagiarize them, that's what that means. When you take something that isn't yours and try to turn it in as yours, you'll get 0 credit for that. Just something to keep in mind with this class and other classes going forward. So we have ways to check on these things. These university policies are going to apply mostly to NSU students, but let's keep in mind that this is a college class, college level class that you're doing. This is a class that is very, very similar to something I would give to the NSU students at an introductory level. That goes with the book and the different assignments. So what we have here, and I don't load up the syllabus with tons of information, but we've essentially got the course schedule. So this is where you go to check what you need to do. Week 1, you read a chapter of the text. Week 2, you read the second chapter. We start out slowly so that you can get the textbook. If you don't get it the first week, well, you can catch up and read chapters 1 and 2 together the second week. But know that in 1, 2, 3, week 4, you've got your first exam. And so you'll need to take that when it's open at the end of week 4, and then we do it all over again. Exam 2 covers chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7. So once you finish with the first exam at the end of week 4, you can see the following week you'll have, look, another study guide. Let me tell you about one other thing. Didn't mention yet. And we'll start with week 1. Right here, I'm not going to click on it because it just, well, let me do it anyway. These are short little videos that are from our textbook author. And sometimes you see that spinning. Click again and again.
When the Europeans first arrived in the Americas during the 16th century, they assumed that the native peoples, which they mislabeled Indians.
Okay, so that gentleman is our textbook author. I'm going to go backwards here. And it's a short video to try to just give you an introduction about, moving the thing around here, there we go, about what you're going to be reading that particular week, that topic. Again, they run a minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more. But students in the past have said it kind of helps them as a good orientation. So take a look at those. Sometimes you've got a few of them, sometimes you've got some more, but it's a good way to kind of introduce the subjects that you'll be dealing with on that particular week. So that is essentially all I want to say on this intro video. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. In the meantime, you need to get the textbook, which I showed you. You need to get started with the reading. Your first assignment is due in week 2. Even though the material is there in week 1, you may want to go and watch that crash course video and even rewatch it when you go to complete the assignment in week 2. So that covers everything I wanted to talk about. Welcome to the class. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something about our past. We're talking about history before we even are the United States. And so, this is a fast-paced course because we're going over almost 400 years. But I hope you do enjoy it and get something out of this class. And of course, you have a very good fall semester.